I was canvassing industrial businesses at the end of a morning, and I walked into one business knowing that it would be my last based on how much time was left. And so I just said hello. It was a mechanic shop, and I couldn't see anybody that was around. But eventually a lady came in from the back, and she just looked like she had been having a bad day. And it turns out that she had. What I didn't know at the time was that she had just come to the end of a very difficult situation in her life that morning, and it was just really discouraging her. I just said hello and shared with her what we were doing. I shared with her the health books, and she was kind of interested, but not really. And she just asked me, "Oh, what religion are you?" And so I shared with her in the back, "Oh, we're working with the famous Blue Bible Story Company. Have you heard of us?" And she said, "Oh, no, what religion? What church are you?" And so I took a deep breath and I said a prayer and I said, "Oh, we're Seventh-day Adventist Christians. Have you heard of us?" And she just stopped and looked at me, and her whole face lit up, and I wasn't expecting that, but she just smiled and she said, "You're a Seventh-day Adventist? I want to be a Seventh-day Adventist." And so our conversation just really took off from there. She shared that she was a homeschool mom, and over the past 15, 20 years, through educating her children, trying to give them a Bible-based education, she had been studying the Bible through different Bible study guides from different denominations, and God had been showing her in the Bible the truth about the Sabbath and what happens when we die, and also about how God wants us to be healthy through the health message too. And so I shared with her that yes, this is things that I believe too that the Bible teaches. And she was so excited because she'd heard of Adventists and was curious about learning more, but she just never had really had an opportunity to look into attending a church in the area. And so I said another prayer, and I just invited her, if she was interested, that she was welcome to come and visit the church that my friends and I were staying at for the summer as we did our program. And she was very interested in coming, and she just gave me her number so that we could be in contact. Before I left, I was able to pray with her, and we were both able to recognize that this was definitely a divine appointment that only God could have arranged because she'd been going through so much lately. So I left her with Christ Object lessons and also the Desire of Ages. But the story didn't end there, because 2 weeks later, she was able to come to church and to worship and pray and sing with my friends and I. And she had such a wonderful experience. And she told me later, just as we were standing in the foyer, just sort of praising God together and praying together for each other, just how good God has been to both of us and making sure that our paths had crossed. And she shared with me that this was the first time she felt at home in a church in a long time, just with people who were welcoming and wanted to follow God and all the truths in the Bible too. It was one of the biggest blessings of my life to stand and talk with her in the foyer after church service and to just recount how God had blessed and to realize that He had been arranging this day's experience and that of 2 weeks before for 15 or 20 years before we had ever met, really almost before I was born. And just continue to pray for her and her family as they continue to follow in the light that God is giving them, and to realize that God is always faithful to those who are seeking for Him.